Hey friends, welcome back. I'm LlamaMamaKayla, and I appreciate you stopping by for a visit today. We made it to March. Yay! So, first off, I want to start off by asking you all to please step up the prayers for my dad. Yesterday afternoon, he was taking from the nursing home back to the hospital. His blood oxygen was low, and his respiratory was high. I think that's right. And then he was put into ICU. He was put on a BiPAP machine at 75% oxygen, and this morning they lowered it to 50%, and we won't find out until about 10 o'clock how he's done on that, if he was able to tolerate it at a lower rate, or, what's the next step. They're treating him with steroids for his lungs. So I appreciate so very much if you could step up the prayers for my dad. I appreciate you all praying for my dad and my mom so much. I'm going to pop in a picture here so you can see who you're praying for. My mom is doing okay. She's in a nursing home, and she's not having like COVID effects, like with her breathing and stuff like that. She's has other issues going on, so she needs prayer too. And plus, they were in the same room at the nursing home, and then he was moved back to the hospital, and she's there in the nursing home room. So, but anyway, I want to tell you about my dad. He is my stepdad. He raised me from about the 4th or 5th grade on up. I was about in the 4th grade. He raised me on up from there, and he is a very hard-working man. Like, this man never stops working. Well, he has now, because they forced him to retire at like 70. Okay, I mean, seriously, he worked and worked and worked. He worked while he had cancer and was going through chemo treatments. This man worked graveyard shifts, get off work, go mow 3 or 4 yards for people, and then go home and, get a bath and go to bed. This man is always working. He's always doing for people. He is a fighter. I mean, he's had cancer a couple times now, and he's, beat it. And like I said, he even worked while he had cancer and was going through radiation treatments and such, He continued to work. They needed him to retire. I can't remember, I can't remember the situation or whatever, but anyway, they ended up paying him to retire because he just is a hard worker, He would have worked. He would have kept working if they hadn't have told him, that he needed to retire. So I'm going to pop in a picture so you can just see who you're praying for, and, just ask you to pray for him and pray for my mom. Pray for my brother, because he's the one with everything on his shoulders. He's the one taking care of everything, plus taking care of his own family and his job and things like that. Sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional, but I do want to ask you just to keep my dad in your prayers. Well, this COVID has just really kicked my rear. I mean, I'm in bad shape already, you know, with my health issues. I'm limited on what I can do. I give out super easy. I mean, I'm talking everyday, normal life. I give out super easy and can't just hold up to do anything. I'm weak and just, you know, pretty much good for nothing. This COVID is like, yesterday morning I made that video. Just getting my things together and putting them on the table to do the video wiped me out. And then I did the video and then I had to go lay down. I slept the rest of the day. It wiped me out. So probably the same thing today. After I get this video done, and it'll probably just wipe me out. But the least little thing just, you know, really just zaps me. But you know, I'm not having breathing issues, so that is great. I'm a little short-winded, a little if I talk a lot or if I start coughing a lot. I get a little short-winded. And I do have the little pulse ox thing to check your oxygen, but it won't read my fingers. My fingers don't work in these. Very seldom will they work. When I'm in the hospital, they always have to put one on my ear. Anytime I go into surgery, or if I'm in the hospital and they have to keep a check on, you know, the oxygen, they clip one on my ear so they can keep it, because those just don't work on my fingers. So anyway, it is March, and so I wanted to share a project that I'm going to be working on here for some of the March. I mean, I'll be working on tons of projects, but this is one that I do want to get done, and I'm kind of excited about. A while back, my son Dakota had asked me to do him a green blanket, and so we kind of conversed a little bit, but I don't think we talked about it enough. And so he picked out some greens, and I just started making some green squares. So my hair. So I just started making some green squares. Well, he didn't say anything. He just kind of acted like, yeah, okay, you know, great. And then later, in a conversation later, I kind of got the feeling that he wanted them green, but he kind of wanted it like the Roseanne blanket, you know, on the back of the couch on the show Roseanne, but he wanted it a different shades of green. And I was like, oh, well, I'd already done quite a few squares, so I wasn't supposed to take them apart. So anyway, not that I was frustrated with it, but I was just like, I put it to the side because I was going to do something different, you know, because I wanted it to be something that he wants and, you know, that he'll enjoy. So I've just been thinking about that for a while, and now I came up with what I'm going to do. So I wrote out my little plan here. It's going to be 40 squares. 20 of the squares are going to be like this, solid, just ran, you know, all different colors, shades of green. 20 of the squares are going to be mixed like this. And I'm going 6 rounds. I'm going 6 rounds on all 40 squares. And I'm using my J hook, which is a 6mm hook, because, you know, I do want it drapey and stuff. I didn't want it real steel for anything. And I'm trimming each square in that black in my favorite join. Remember what I did on the last squares this past month? I'm doing the same thing on each of these squares, going around them in black, and I'm going around them as I make them, so I'll have them done. And then I'm going to put a border around it, the whole thing in black. And so that's what I'm doing. So I've drawn it out, and the squares with the X are solid. And then the squares that or just empty, they're going to be the mixed colors. So that's what I'm doing, and it'll just be kind of random, you know, put together. I mean, no, it's not random, because I'm going to have it like down each row, a solid, a mix, a solid, mix, solid, mix. And so I'm thinking I'm going to do this 5 squares across and 8 squares down, because Dakota's kind of tall. He's a little over 6 foot, I'm sure. And so, he's at least 6 foot, maybe a little bit taller. So I do want it, you know, tall. These squares are measuring, that was a dog. These squares are measuring, gosh, I can't remember if it was 7.5 or 8.5. Ginger, are you dreaming? She's asleep and she's whining. She must be dreaming. I can't remember if they're measuring 7.5 or 8.5 inches. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing for the month of March. I mean, I'll be working on lots of other projects, but this is one of the main ones that I'm going to be working on, and I will show you as I get going on these and get these going. I've got some made up, and I'm working on these today. Just sitting there watching something on Hulu and making squares, and also praying for my dad. Okay, guys, I appreciate y'all watching so very much. Y'all just don't know how much I appreciate y'all clicking on my video and giving me a watch. You know, it means a lot, and it means a lot to me to know that I have all these people that's willing to pray for my dad and my mom. So I will let you all get going. I hope you have a great day, and I'll be back tomorrow with a Whip Wednesday. And starting something new for that. Bye, friends.